Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and today it's day 10 of Micro Machine March 2. So today I will be looking at the Star Wars Micro Machine Skipray Blastboat. So the Blastboat, for those that don't know, is an expanded universe / legend ship. Basically it has a lot of history. I'm only going to touch the tip of the iceberg and we'll save the rest for another day. But this particular ship, it's not really a fighter, it's more of a heavy bomber. It has 2 pilots and 2 gunners. This section in the back in the novels can rotate up and down. This model here is static, and it's as fast as an X-Wing in space. However, it's more geared towards atmospheric flight. So in the beginning, these were made for the Empire, and after a time period, the Empire basically said, we're not buying these anymore, and that's when the main company, which I believe was Sinar Systems, they basically opened it up to the market, and anybody could buy one. So it's a very interesting ship, and we do have a lot to cover. First of all, it was first seen in Heir to the Empire, which was a novel. And if you're looking to buy this bad boy, you can find it in the Star Wars Epic Collection #1, Heir to the Empire. And for its length, it's about 1 3/4 inches long, which is pretty damn good. So we do have a lot to cover. We're going to look at the mold, paint, put on a stain, compare it, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright, let's get this review started looking at the mold. I must say, this model right here is one of the most impressive detail-wise. Very unique, very nicely done with the lines, little recesses, paneling, armor, weapons. The turret is cool, but I'm getting ahead of myself. On the bottom we have our copyright crap, peg port, some nice lines, our engine in the back. Really nice. I like this section here. Well done. Coming to the front of the ship, right here should be proton and concussion missiles, ion cannons. All that stuff is right here. And it's really jam-packed. This thing is actually supposed to be a little bigger than a normal fighter. And then in here we have our cockpit, which holds 2 pilots. And the windows are molded nicely. Coming back here we have our turret, where a dude would sit and activate that. Our reactor in the back, which looks like an engine, but it really isn't. So that's pretty cool. Then we have our laser cannons right here, which are nicely molded. Pretty sharp. And then in the back, we have our sensors. I always thought they were guns as a kid, but they are sensors. The backs. Pretty neat. Now, in the books, this would rotate up, and I'm sure if you had a couple of these, you could take an X-Acto knife and cut this, and just rotate it up and glue it back. And to be honest, I might do that in the future. But all in all, a very nicely done ship. Some great details and paneling. Amazing work. So now that we're done looking at the mold, let's take a look at the paint. Alright, when it comes to the paint of the Blastboat, we have a small handful of colors to look at. The main color is a nice brown, as you can see here. I always liked that growing up. And then we have light tan in back of the sensors here. The gun barrels, the engines. And then in the front here, on the side, and on the bottom. Then we have, I would say it's like a dark canvas color. It's not really gray. And that's on the sensors, the gun barrels, the turret. And none really on the bottom. Then the next color we have red for the tips of the sensors. And a little red down here in the front. And finally, we have a nice shade of blue and glossy black for the cockpit. Nicely done, I will admit that. Very cool. So now that we're done with the mold and the paint, let's put this baby on a stand and compare it to some other ships and we'll be done. And just like all micro machines from the Galoob days, it comes with a cool translucent stand. This one's a little hard to get in, but just put it in like so, and you're good to go. And now for a little size comparison with the Skipray Blastboat. I have it next to 2 other Galoob micro machines. We have the X-Wing, and then over here we have the original TIE Fighter. Awesome ships. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Micro Machine Skipray Blastboat. Again, this was first seen in the novel Heir to the Empire, and for its length, it's 1 3/4 inches long, which is pretty cool. So why do I like this model? First of all, it's very unique. Compared to what we get mostly from Galoob, it was a lot of X-Wings, and ships we're used to seeing. This was just like the Lady Luck or the Flurry. It stood out as being very different, and I like it for that. And then we have detail, which is fantastic. A bunch of great lines, molding. We have the turret, the engines, the sensor pods, the weapons, everything's there that should be. For the paint, another home run for Galoob. We got the brown, the tan, everything's done perfectly. My favorite part is the front of the ship, with that little bit of red under the front, and then we have the glossy black and that blue. And your eye just goes right to it since it's so bright. Just awesome. And of course, just like other Galoob ships, it comes with a translucent stand, and that just makes it blend right into the rest of the line, which is awesome. So if you're looking to pick this up, I recommend going to the internet and looking around. Usually you could get these sets for cheap. The set is called the Star Wars Micro Machines Epic Collection #1, Heir to the Empire. And you get like 3 different ships and a couple unique characters as well. So if you're into that stuff, check it out. Now I recommend this for anybody who's a fan of the expanded universe, Heir to the Empire, or awesome Star Wars ships in general. And that's everything I have to say about this beautiful ship today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.